What is up? What is up? What is up, everybody? It's your
eye stuff, you know, with like tools and whatnot.
Good evening. This is Brittany from the ChamGirl podcast. I'm happy to have everybody here tonight. So my guest tonight is Doug Young. He is the man who makes the 3D printed chameleon feeders that I get asked about a lot during my TikTok lives. So I was like, I've been purchasing from him for quite several years. So I wanted to get him on tonight because he makes a lot more than just things for chameleons. And he is from Fire House Geckos. How are you tonight, Doug?
Not too bad. How about yourself, Brittany?
Oh, I am very good. So I'm so happy. You were one of my very first early purchases when I got into chameleons. Outside of the chameleon and everything I needed, I saw those printer. I think who was using Fram's cams.
Yep.
Yes, and I was like, "Where did you get those?" And I get so many colors from you guys. I love them. So
I have 17 colors right now. I think, if I'm thinking correctly.
You got more?
17
more
colors.
Yep. Did you get pink? That's not my favorite color. The green and the blue. You got one?
Yep.
Yes. Oh no, that's so good because I get asked if you have pink ones a lot. Hey, Charlene. I believe Charlene might have got a couple too from you. I don't know if she's ordered them yet, but she was saying she was going to get some. But I guess we'll start from the beginning. How did Fire House Geckos come to life? What got you into breeding geckos in the first place?
I kind of first got into geckos. I had a coworker I was working for an ambulance company, and she was like, "Hey, you're saying you can't have a dog or a cat in your apartment. Have you thought about getting a leopard gecko or like a bearded dragon?" And I was like, kind of talked about it a little bit. She ended up giving me a leopard gecko. Did some research, ended up seeing all the morphs that were available, and just went down a rabbit hole of like, man, I want to get this and I want to get that. Then inevitably got into breeding. Luckily, I have a ton of really cool reptile stores near me. One of them in particular, Sabrina's Reptile Kingdom in Cumberland, Rhode Island. The owner, Chris, bought a ton of geckos from me. And that's like where I was like, well, this might be able to be something more than just a fun little hobby. I might be able to kind of be able to finance my hobby. And after that, I started doing reptile expos. My first one, I think it was in 2019 or the summer of 2020, the Massachusetts Reptile Expo in Hanover, Massachusetts, and it's crazy how much like my tables have grown since then between the animals, different species I work with, and all the 3D printed stuff.
Right. You work with several species. What's the most rewarding and the most challenging that you have worked with?
The most rewarding, it's kind of hard to say. Like I really like my clown leopard geckos. I'm kind of known for doing super giant leopard geckos.
Cool.
No one else in New England that I'm aware of that really works with them other than me.
No, I think you're the only one I've seen on that has those listed.
Yeah, there's a handful of people working with them, but there's really not many, and there's some debate about the actual genetics behind it right now.
Yeah, I've heard that. No, I saw your clowns are gorgeous. So I love how bright they are. I have a leopard gecko. I forget what morph she is, but she's almost like white.
Yeah.
With I think it's what you call high yellow snout. I forget. But I have a leopard gecko, but I saw yours. I was like, oh my gosh, I wish I would have gone with you.
Yeah, it's crazy how like such a simple animal, like not like the most elaborate pattern, but they can throw out some really awesome animals from like the clown projects. Like I have a couple, like you might think they kind of look like mediocre clowns, but they've thrown out some awesome animals from their offspring.
No, I love like mine. She's got like she almost looks like she's like, I feel like leopard geckos, some of them look like they're up to really bad things. Like they just committed like mass crimes against humanity, like the way their face looks.
Yep,
I'm like, I'm gonna do it again.
Yep.
Mine is like a little not as mischievous. Like her, I think the most that she would be capable of is like grabbing my keys and hiding them from me, and like I not giving them back until like 2 minutes before I absolutely have to leave my house. It's not as mischievous, but some of them look so ornery. I love the little faces. Are there any species that you are like new morphs or anything that you're going to be starting here soon?
I'm not really thinking about any new morphs with the leopards. I'm probably going to try to work on refining my clowns and some of my blood tangerines and trying to work the super giant gene into almost everything that I have. Those really seem to be a showstopper when people are walking on the table saying, hey, I've never seen a leopard gecko that big before. I didn't know they could get that big. Or like, oh, I thought mine was big and then I saw yours.
You've ended with show me's, haven't you? I thought I saw the show me. You have?
Yes. I've done their Massachusetts Expo, the Rhode Island one, the one in Derry. And those
what was the last one you said? Derry,
New Hampshire.
Okay. No, I've seen all those listings of yours, and I was like, would you say that you is it online sales for you, or is it the shows that you have the most sales through?
My 3D printed stuff is mostly online. I do pretty well at shows, but it's very consistent and steady with my online sales. I haven't actually sold any geckos online in probably 3 years, just since I'm just selling them at expos, and I'm focusing a little more on the printed stuff than I am trying to produce a ton of leopard geckos or the cave geckos or fat tails I'm working with right now.
What inspired you to start designing and printing the reptile accessories?
I started off just making a little feeder ledge for one of my tokeis, and I wasn't even like trying to sell it to people. It was just in the background of a picture that I put on like a Tokay Gecko Facebook group. And someone said, hey, that's really cool. Can you make that for me? I was like, all right, no, I'll make it for you. Then a couple other people asked, and I kind of made some other products. My second thing I ever really made was the chameleon feeder. Because I tried some other products that were out there and I wasn't like super happy about them. And I'm like, man, I'm just going to 3D print one out, make it way better. And it actually took me a little while to end up bringing that like into my online shop, just because it took some like refinement of like getting it to print well and consistently.
No, those have been a game changer for me too. When I'm able to introduce them to the babies when I'm raising them, once it finally starts to click, like, oh, that's what that's there for. It's not some big scary thing. Like they take off when they're growing, and they're so easy to clean, which is also so awesome.
I like how they have like a wide view on the front too, and that really helps some of the chameleons, especially like if you've ever worked with any like wild caught species, they pick up on it really quick because I can see the insects from like all over the cage.
No, that's my Parsons. I have a pair of yellow giant Parsons, and it took them a second, but now they're like, wait, they love it. So I put it in there, no hesitation. They're not afraid. I absolutely love them. I thought it was so funny. I had one juvenile male. I raised him, and he was terrified of the red, orange, and yellow one. I could not use those. Green, that's fine. Purple and blue, fine. The other colors were no go. And I was like that. And I find that so interesting. Were you the first one who made these? Because I think I feel like I saw you, and I've started to see other like brands sprinkle here and there.
I think I am. There was another person who came up around the same time. They make theirs out of acrylic, but very similar like idea. And now it's like you go on Etsy or anything, and everyone's making them. And actually, Frames Cams is doing their own now.
And that's kind of funny because he introduced Brian was the one who was like, "Yeah, go there," and then I saw that. I was like, "Oh." Yeah. Do you have? And I also you have those cool little feeder cups. And aren't one of them magnetic too for the geckos?
Yep. So all the stuff that I make that's designed to be mounted, it's all magnets. I don't use any suction cups. I hate suction cups because they just fall off.
No, they're awful. And that's what's so cool. And I also saw you sell the magnets, like individual, like if you run out of like, so for me, like when I'm moving around cleaning stuff, occasionally I might bump into my cage, and like sometimes that little magnet goes somewhere. And depending on what you're doing, I'm sure eventually I'll find it. It's somewhere, sticking somewhere on one of the metal frames somewhere.
Yep.
But you sell those too. And I was like, that is so smart. I'm like, I need to make like an order of like 100 of those suckers because they go and they disappear when they go because they're itty bitty. But I love it. So I'm very excited about the new colors. You said 17.
Yeah, I think I have about 17. There's a few that I only bring to Reptile Expos. Some like the ones I bring to Expos, I just started doing like a rainbow color. So I just don't want people to ask, hey, can you make it in like certain patterns with the rainbow? Like, no, like it's, you just get what you get. Like I can't try to stop the spool because as the spool progresses, it'll like change colors. I do like a specific order of colors.
Have you ever had any bizarre, super specific custom requests for them? For any of your printed things?
I had someone in Australia who wanted, it was like a very small version of my mealworm dish. And she works with rehabbing, it was a bat species. I want to say it was fruit bats, but there was some sort of small bat species she was working with. And
that's so crazy.
It's crazy that like someone on the other side was like willing to be like, hey, like I'll pay the shipping was like $250. It actually probably cost more than Bowls did, if I remember correctly.
Charlene says, I had the suction cup feeders and my gecko keeps knocking his off.
Oh yeah. Or there's people who use weak magnets. People always rave about the strength of my magnets on the gecko products. So other than the chameleon feeder, everything else uses a bigger magnet. And
oh wow.
Your stuff is the strongest around. I haven't really heard of anyone's falling off.
No. I know the little ones don't. Do you make 3D prints for all of your own enclosures then?
Yep. So everything I sell, I use myself. There's
awesome.
A few things like people have asked me to make for them that I'll probably eventually put in my shop once I kind of test it myself and use it for a while. Or if some of my friends use it, then I'll put it in my shop.
And also, you said, what other species are you breeding? You said leopard geckos definitely is your main focus. What other species of geckos are you working with?
Also have Chinese cave geckos.
Oh, wow.
Those are one of my favorites. I have some Japanese cave geckos. They've kind of been hit or miss with breeding. I've only gotten like a couple of good eggs out of them. And the babies, when they hatch, they're like super tiny and really delicate. I have some fat tails. I haven't gotten any eggs for them in about a year for some reason. They're a little tricky. It seems like they're nearly not as easy as leopard geckos. Leopard geckos, like you put them together and like you'll just get tons of eggs. Not as much as like crested geckos, but they're really easy. The fat tails are a little more tricky. I've played with some chameleon species in the past.
Which ones have you done?
I've worked with helmetids. I had to get rid of them because I had to move my 3D printers into the basement where my reptiles are, and it was getting too warm. A little too toasty for them at night. I've had panthers in the past. Right now, actually growing up a litter of Jackson's chameleons, the Jacksoni.
I have a helmeted and a Jackson's. It's just as a pet. I don't breed them.
Yeah, I just love that.
The
It's just like the small form factor. Maybe I'll get into carpets at some point, but we'll see.
Yes, there's not that many people that breed carpets, and they're real pretty. I was actually looking. I'm right in front of. His name is Humphrey Bogart, my helmeted chameleon. And then my Jackson's female, she is T Flexa, like T Flexa. It said T Rex. It's T. I was at first it was gonna be T Flex. I'm like, no, that's a female, so it's T Flexa. Yeah, I was like, I gotta make that little girly. But no, I love the helmeted. I always say they kind of like look like if chameleons listen to music, that the helmeted chameleon would be like an emo rock band.
I can see that.
Yeah, it's like my Chameleon Romance would be their band name. Is rainbow a custom color? Charlene asked.
I don't have it online, but if you order something from me and say, hey, can you make it in rainbow? I'll make it for you in rainbow.
Oh. She's also asking about metallic chameleon shifting colors.
There's a couple colors I could get my hands on. I try to buy all my filament from companies in the U.S. The rainbow one is imported from China, so I try to support American companies as much as I can. And actually, there's a company like 90 minutes from my house that makes some of the colors that I use, which I thought was really cool.
So you purposely are sourcing out from the U.S.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
It's a lot easier to rely on like the stuff being made in the U.S. and getting it rather than waiting on like a shipment to come in to a wholesaler.
Oh, that definitely makes sense. Yeah, you may not know exactly when it's going to show up when you get it. Might be a better deal, but you may not get it for like 4 months sometimes, depending on where you're getting or what you're getting.
People saying, "Hey, I want this color. When will this color be back in stock?" I try to have all my colors always in stock.
No, my favorite and one that you've been out. Are you back in the blue one? Do you have that one back in stock? Was it Azure Blue? I forget what that was called. I
had to change it to a very slightly different color.
Oh
so
no!
The replacement is now cyan instead of azure blue.
Is that brighter?
It's like maybe a shade brighter.
Okay. Oh, my son, that's his favorite one. He's like, I want all of them to be blue. You see like yellow, orange up there. I was trying to see if my helmet would be just get him. There we go. You said you missed this guy here. He's like,
very nice.
Yeah, he was kind of a rescue-ish situation, but yeah, he's there. You go.
The litter of Jacksoni that I have right now is quasi rescue-ish. The person that came from was like, "Hey, I can't raise these. I don't have the time or the patience for it." Like, all right, I'll take them in.
No, this dude's so cool, and he's so little, just so little. He's like, I love chameleons. Obviously, I love chameleons. I have 66. So he's like, let me go.
Yep. No, like, why am I on here? I don't want to be on the podcast.
He's actually, I find them to be a lot calmer than some of the panthers. Veils, especially. Veils are just ornery creatures.
I started with the veiled, and he was all right.
Oh, all right. Usually,
they're like, oh, too much.
Yeah, my Jackson's is down way on the other side of the basement. I'm able to get where they're at. I'm able to kind of keep them individually a lot cooler than like the other cages. But that is Doug, do you have anything to show off?
I should have brought some stuff up. I'm sitting in my dining room, and it's a little too noisy downstairs to do the podcast.
I understand that. I have to turn the fans off down here because I have a lot of fans that are going to keep that airflow moving constantly down here. I was trying. Okay, so you said Japanese and Chinese Cape geckos, right?
Yeah.
What is the big difference with those two? Because when I saw the picture of your Japanese, like they look kind of similar.
They're very similar. The Japanese seem to have more of like a marbling pattern, whereas the Chinese have more of like bands. The Japanese ones are a little bit smaller, and they're a little bit trickier to get going. The hatchlings, they're a little too small to eat, like even some like the smallest dubia roaches, kind of like miners, or even some like really small black soldier fly larvae, or like
they're that small. I've never seen the Japanese. I've seen Chinese ones. I thought those were almost like they're like pretty long and like maybe I don't know if this is like the accurate description of the ones I've seen in person, but they're like thinner than leopard, but they're pretty long.
Yeah, they're much thinner. They're probably about the same ratio as far as like length. Like their proportions look very similar, just they're a little bit slimmer.
That's what I thought I noticed with them. But you're saying the Japanese are even like they're just altogether smaller than the Chinese.
Yeah, they're a little bit smaller, and the babies are significantly smaller.
Oh.
If you ever seen like any of like the banded geckos, the Coleonyx, those babies are pretty small, and the caves are maybe a little smaller than that.
Oh wow! I did not know that. I saw those like okay, I've not even heard of because when starting with the reptile hobby, I started with chameleons. So I just got my first leopard gecko back in March. So I'm still learning about all the different morphs with geckos, and you know, I got a gargoyle gecko. I love him. He's awesome. Koopa is so cool. I really like the gargoyle geckos. But I saw some of the the barking gecko.
Yep.
And that's when I went down that rabbit hole of all those different little smaller geckos. And I go, oh man, Texas made more sense.
A friend of mine used to work with the barking geckos. They're super cool. And then they're kind of like knobtails, but not knobtails.
They're little knobtails are bigger though. Or no, wait. Not thinking the African fat tail. No, I was thinking those.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the knobtails and the barkings are similar. I don't think I've actually seen knobtails in person.
I think they get confused a lot. I've seen some that when I look up barking gecko, they'll pull up the knobtails, and they call it both. So I was confused if that was something that, like with the white, was it the white tree frog, where some people call them dumpy frogs, and others are common. So I didn't know if it was something like that. Which when I was like, oh God, I hope you breed those. My daughter really wants one. She's turning 5 on Friday. And she's like, Mom, I want one of those frogs. They keep catching frogs outside, and they're like, Mom, can we just keep this one? I'm like, no, they're not going to do as good. Like, you need one that's not just fresh from the outside. And oh God, those things are hilarious to watch. At least the videos of them.
Yeah, I bought a few white tree frogs. I had a ton of customers saying they're using my products with their white tree frogs. So I just told my wife
that you have.
Yep, and I actually made.
Are so cool.
I made a 3D printed toilet that my frogs like to sit in the bowl of it.
It's just a spot right here.
I've seen up to 3 in there, and then like the 4th one was sitting on top of like the tank.
Are they in a pretty big enclosure? You have 4 of them?
24, 18, 20 by 24.
Yeah, because I see people keep many of them, and I feel like they're one of the few species of that you have multiple of in one enclosure. So that's something I thought was pretty cool. I've seen some dart frogs, but I know they have to be like the same. Is it more? I don't know with the dart frogs. I'm still learning about that. And yeah, you're right. My addiction is just starting. I get one Kenyan sand boa, and now I'm going down a whole other rabbit hole of all of those morphs, and then I hold a ball python. I'm like, and I just so what pets do you have? Like things that you're not breeding? Do you have a tokay?
I have a tokay.
How mean is he? Like a little demon Satan gecko that bites you? Is he better now?
He sits there plotting my murder every day. He's like right at my basement stairs when I walk down. He's the first animal right there, and he just sits there and stares at me. And right now he's calling like every few hours. He's like,
doggy. Go down here. I have a chameleon. Her name's Sybil. And until I was making, when I had Mickey on here, Mickey Meyer, he had told me, because he lives in Troy, and he was like, how this male panther bit him. And I was like, and how bad it was. I'm like, oh God, I've never heard of this happening. And I've been bit I guess by a total of 7 panther chameleons, but that's like out of over 100. And none of them have really hurt. And it's like they're quick, like, get away from me, bite.
Yeah.
But man, I have this one female, and I named her Sybil because of it, like from the movie. And that thing, she bit me with the intention of disabling me to take like the skin off of my thumb, and it was straight up bleeding. I'm like, you what? This little female, and it was. Oh, so I've seen those bites from the tokays. I'm like, they're gorgeous. They're one of the prettiest geckos I've seen, but I don't want one that literally just hates me the entire time.
And there's some morphs coming out now too.
No way.
Becoming a little more prevalent.
They're
Dakota Blue
beautiful.
Exotics works with some. And there's another person I always see on Instagram. I cannot remember their handle right now. It's like Gecko maybe might be their handle.
Gecko.
Yeah, that might be the name of it.
No, they have the same teeth like gargoyle geckos, right? Because I've seen my gargoyle's teeth, and I'm like, shoot, that hurt. Like they're like little like needles.
I haven't. Luckily, I haven't been bit by mine.
No.
He got up. Whenever I reach in, I really do like any cleaning. I'll try to put like a welding glove on, so in case he does get me, which he's gotten the welding glove a couple times, but I've never like got a good look at his teeth. I'm guessing they're probably very similar to like a gargoyle.
Yeah, those teeth I've seen are pretty scary.
Yeah, I've seen some
that'd be
picture nasty bites.
Really? From the gargoyles or tokay?
Tokays.
You know, those guys suck. They're so pretty too. So you have tokay, and what else do you have as pets?
I have a black and white tegu. His name's Yoshi.
Oh God, that's beautiful. I wish you could bring him up.
He's like puppy dog tame, and he was I think
so
it was one of
cool.
the last tokays that Ty Park produced. One of my local reptile shops had him, and I was like, yeah, I'm definitely getting one.
How big is he now?
He's probably 4.5 feet. Pretty good sized boy.
Oh gosh. And is he all big and like the ones I see, I think they always look so chunky. I know it's like their build, like the way that they.
Yeah, he's pretty good size.
So he's a black and white one. Is that I'm trying the ones I've like? Is it like pretty contrasting markings on it, or is it just like the way it blends?
It's kind of like a normal-ish between black and white tegus. He's not like
so cute. Where are you located at?
Seacock, Massachusetts. I don't have a brick and mortar store. I sell on Etsy and my own website, firehousegecos.com. Also, if you're local, you can always ask me if you can just meet me somewhere instead of paying shipping.
Oh, that's. Do you have crested?
I have one crested, a couple of gargoyles. The gargoyles were kind of for product development. Then my female was laying eggs, and I was like, well, I kind of feel bad watching your eggs just laying duds every year. So I ended up putting her with one of my males and doing a little bit of gargoyles right now, but I'm trying to not get confused with the other Firehouse Geckos down in Florida.
That would be very confusing.
Yep. I think we both bought our domain names like at the same time too.
No.
Yeah.
Oh no. That because like that's such an odd name to both have. So did you ever even like reach out and talk to each other like, hey man?
I talked to him a few times. He's pretty cool. We started going down to Florida every spring, and there's sometimes coincides with Reptile Expo down there, but he wasn't vending, and then we just kind of were never able to. I was hoping to actually meet him at an expo and say hi.
This is Koopa. He's about to shed. He just kind of, but this is Koopa. He's super cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Super chill.
Oh God, he's the chillest thing ever. I mean, he's gonna try and jump on us here soon, but he just.
Nothing like the crested gecko leap of faith, though. That's the.
I love their jumps. Like the way they jump, like they put so much emphasis. Like you think they're gonna jump like 10 plus feet away from you, and like, and like just.
And they look like they're planning it out. Like, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it.
Yeah, I love these things, and that's what it's so cool. So, what makes a gecko? Because they look so different from each other. All the different species, like leopard gecko versus crested and garg. Is it because they can, like, they actually have vocals? Do you know that?
I'm probably not qualified to answer that. Not sure what makes them actually a gecko versus, like, say, a lizard.
Is it dropping the tail, I wonder? Well, some of them regenerate, like he does, not the crusteds. Him and the leopards do. Do tokays regenerate their tail?
Yes. Tokays do.
Now, okay. Do we want to find out why are geckos considered geckos? What makes a gecko a gecko? Because they look so different. Like, obviously, when you see a chameleon, you know, like, oh, that's a type of chameleon. I mean, I guess I'm trying to think of bearded dragons, what family they are in. Because I've seen things that look like. Where are you going, Koopa? He goes on your keyboard. What makes a lizard considered a gecko? What is special or unique about geckos? All right, we're gonna find out. So maybe you'll know now. Any recommendations on getting the crested to grow? I've done crickets with calcium and have her in a tote to grow. Anything else I can do?
I'm not a cresty breeder, but kind of going off my gargoyles, there's definitely a difference with offering your gargoyles and insects like once a week versus just constantly feeding them Pangea or Rapashi or one of the other prepared diets. They definitely grow a bit quicker.
Okay, the answer for geckos, I found it. Vocalization. Most geckos vocalize with chirps, barks, squeaks, or clicks. Except for leopard geckos, it says none of them have eyelids. So they have to lick their eyeballs to clean them. But leopard geckos do. I guess probably like fat. I'd assume the other types of geckos, like leopard geckos, like fat tail and the barking. So I wonder if that's unique to the ones that are like on the ground versus ones like this.
I think I've heard all of mine make vocalizations except maybe my cave geckos.
The cave one?
I don't think I've heard them make anything. I don't know if they just they made noise around me.
That was, he tried to jump and he's like, oh, nope, never mind. Just on your smartwatch. And we'll put little Koopa up. I just think you said gargoyle. Yes, I forget what Morphe is. I think it's like some type of red stripe. But he's about to shed. He just started this overnight. This is a red stripe?
Yeah, it looks like a red stripe.
I got him just because I wanted to get other species because I started with chameleons. So a lot of people, especially on my TikTok lives, be like, hey, what is the difference in care between? So I had to put him back. What is the difference in care between like chameleons and leopard geckos or bearded dragons, gargoyle geckos, whatever? And how I don't know because I didn't know. So I wanted to be able to know like what to tell people. So I got my bearded dragon in December. He's like 8 or 9 months old. He's so cool. He's a 0. I love him. Like I wish he was down here and I would go bring him out because he's freaking awesome. He's just like bright white. Then I got Koopa, the gargoyle gecko. And then I got Euphoria, the leopard. And then I got my Kenyan sand boa. I convinced my boyfriend into the sand boa because I'm like, they're not that big. Because he's still scared of snakes. But I wasn't intending to breed. So I didn't learn that much about morphs. I know they're care and husbandry. But as far as like all the random facts and stuff that I know about panthers and other chameleons, I didn't know about them. So I was like, I just thought he was cool. And I got Koopa, and I'm like, I don't even know what Morphe is, so I feel kind of silly. The kids love him, and that's another thing. I wanted my kids to be able to have lizards that they can handle more, or pets that they were able to handle more. My oldest is 6, Amelia turns 5 on Friday, and my youngest just turned 3 on June 3rd. So they're all young. Yeah. So
my daughter's 3.
She's 3.
Yep, and she goes downstairs and she's like, "Hey, Daddy, I want to go see the geckos and rats." So we have 2 pet rats. I got from one of my friends at the Expo.
Are they like Dumbo ears?
No, they're just regular rats.
Really? Rats are such an underrated pet, I think. You were there for my Kenyan sandboa purchase. And then you saw me geeking out over the ball pythons too. And I was like, and yes, Charlene helped convince my boyfriend that the sandboa was a good bet. But now I discovered the Arabian sandboa, and like you should just look at Arabian sandboa up and you'll laugh a lot if you've not seen one. They're hilarious. Do it now and you're gonna crack up because this is an actual thing. It's a real living creature, and this is what it looks like.
Yeah, it's like the eyes are way more on the top of their head than like a Kenyan. It looks like.
And like,
it looks like
mine looks like a kid drew it. No, that snake looks like a 3-year-old. Like, yes. And just
it looks like a sock puppet.
I know, but it's
Like with the eyes on the top of the head.
but they're not even like lined up. Some of them are not even lined up properly. And that's like, yes, teamwork does make the dream work. It does. And I got my Kenyan Sandboa via teamwork from Charlene and a few other people that follow me on TikTok. They're like, yeah, they're almost harassing my boyfriend on my lives. Like, hey, let her get the Kenyan Sandboa. I did yell at you, didn't I? I was like, it was a nice yell. No, I wish I could get. Am I able to get a picture? Oh, how would I do that? Am I able to get a picture of Arabian Sandboa to put on here? Is there any way to do that just so people can see one of these suckers if they've never seen one? Because I discovered this and I'm like, this is nuts. That this is a real thing. But that
Maybe
I don't know if that
can do that from the back.
I'm wondering, like, it's just they're ridiculous. I would love to start seeing these at expos, but if not, it's not a big deal at all.
Or maybe someone just needs to start working with them if they're not really being captive bred.
Okay, I couldn't pull them up. Okay, I was trying to get that and I couldn't do that. Okay, I am sorry there. So what is your most popular 3D printed item that you have right now?
It's probably my New Caledonian ledge, which has stainless steel cups instead of plastic ones. They're 1.5 ounces, and like the only complaint people have ever had about it is like, oh, the bowls are too big for like my crested gecko. Like, well, then just don't fill them all the way up. Maybe a little too simple of an answer. I know what they're looking for, but those are like super awesome. I've tried finding like 1/2 ounce cups. So I have a 1/2 ounce ledge too, but it's like a different grade of stainless steel, and it's attracted to the magnets. So when you put the cup in, it doesn't sit flush because it's getting pulled towards the magnet.
So those are. I was actually going to pull those up right now. Those things are awesome. I got the ones for the plastic, and I also have like the potty thing for the leopard geckos.
Yep, those are huge sellers at expos, and people are always like, do leopard geckos actually use this? And yeah, the answer is yes. Like, you just put it where they're going and they go on it. And I honestly haven't had one person tell me the gecko doesn't use it.
All I did is because when I got that was when I got my leopard gecko's new enclosure, and I just put a little turd in it. And then she started, so when I got it, was when I set up her new enclosure, if that makes sense. So she didn't have an established place yet. And that's where she went. And I was like, that was easy. Like, yes, that was easier than my dog. That was easier than any animal I've ever had. Like, oh, wow, she just right there now. And it's amazing because, again, it's easy to clean. And that's like one of my biggest things. Little turd. Yes. I mean, listen, it's all good. So anyways, I got the little turd and I put it there. The little leopard gecko turd. Not that big.
Not like, make music.
Yeah, and she put it right there. And it's a cute pink one. So that's why I was curious about your chameleon printers, because that was in pink. And I was like, green's my favorite color. Start breeding what, Britt? What, Charlene? The Arabians? I want to do Kenyan, because nobody really does the Kenyan ones. And they look slightly normal compared to the Arabians. The Arabian Sandboas are like, they're cool. Yours always goes in the corner. It goes potty in the corner, Charlie. Yeah, no, that's like, and then but I always go bioactive. I've been really liking to go bioactive, but I still throw in like accessories like that because I don't think that would really affect. Like, I know some people strive for where it looks 100%. Like, there's nothing in it that would be considered not natural. I don't do that, but I don't care. I got my bioactive enclosures. I don't do it with the chameleons, but for any other species I keep, I do bioactive. And she's been really enjoying her new enclosure. But I love the leopard geckos. But I didn't know about morphs when I got her. And when I saw some of the stuff that I was like, oh gosh, do you do any other morphs? Or are you just focusing on the clown?
I do some Max, so the Max Snows and the Super Snows.
Those are pretty.
I have some really cool, just straight eclipses. They don't look
Those
really
are so cool.
Eclipse. So not only affecting the eyes, can also affect the pattern. It tends to reduce the pattern a bit.
Really? Yeah. I mean, so I've seen it with the eyes. I'm like, dear Lord, like they look like they like those eyes look so crazy, but almost like chanting in some like they're summoning things up, like they're just like completely dilated. They're so cool though. It's so crazy how one. So did they all start? Do you know about leopard geckos? So they all start with that one natural, that wild look, the wild caught look.
Yeah, the normals.
Yeah.
I don't want to say who did the first albino. I think it was Ron Tremper had the first albino, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I'm sure leopard gecko people probably yell at me for not knowing that. I want to say it was Ron Tremper had the first albino leopard geckos.
First albino. Is that, and then they went from there with the different morphs, like your clown.
Yep. Yeah, there's
that is
recessive
so
traits,
fascinating.
dominant traits. Some stuff's co-dominant, and some stuff is just line bred.
It's so fascinating to me, though. How one thing could do that.
Yeah, like
It's
clown's
so
polygenic,
crazy.
so it's like there's all sorts of different things mixed in there to produce a clown. It's not really like a morph; it's like a project.
No, I didn't mean to drift off. I thought I was looking at one of my chameleon cages, and his hand was through the door. And I was like, did I close the door on the cage? So I was about ready to go and like run over there and say, but no, he's just sliding his little chameleon grippy hand through the slit of the door and sliding it out. And I was like, what are you doing? I honestly, I about panicked when you're about to see me pull my headphones off and go run over there and fix that. I was like, how would I have even done that? That would have been, I've never done that. So that, but no, he's just
trying to unlock it.
Yeah, no, I have some that do that. Like if they know, sometimes I have a very bad habit, and I'll admit it, that sometimes occasionally I do forget to do the bottom latch. And I have some chameleons that figured out if they push hard enough, they can wiggle their way out of the bottom part of the chameleon door. And yeah, they're smart actually. So I think that's what he's trying to do, is he's trying to push the door open. So I was freaking out, like, oh God, I gotta go save him real quick. I'm gonna have to bust off here and boom, come right back. But no, yeah, I do have some that are very smart, and like they look for me. They'll look and see like, oh, she did it, and I've seen them do this. Like, and they'll go down, they start to try, and I was like, you little stinker. They know my habits.
Trying to see if you locked it.
They no, I'm not kidding. So Mr. Mondays and Redline. He doesn't try. He's just super chill. But Mr. Mondays, if you see, he'll go and he'll push that open and he'll try and get out. Now, Redline, when he wants to get with a girl, he goes and checks to see. But rather than that, it's incredible how smart they are.
Yeah. My favorite thing with them was when I was starting to get to be like lights out when they go into a little sleeping spot.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's always about time to go to bed. One of my favorite things when I had my Panther, he was awesome.
Mr. Mondays is he's actually really chill now. He was a gruff butt for like 6 months, and now he's actually one of my like calmest chameleons. Right now the mean ones are Sybil, Pissy Missy, and Gnarly Carly. They're all females. Males are actually really chill for the most part, but some of them are kind of like would rather you not like touch them, but they're happy you're around because at least they're happy I'm around because I bring them food and the ladies. 3 of my females she's pretty cool. She's a cool walking tree. But these 3 females hate the fact that we are sharing the same air still. And they see me and they're like, oh, like they pop up. It's like, get away from me. Like I'll be feeding them. Then I have some that are super sweet, like Aphrodite. She's just sleeping in her little, not sleeping. She lives in her food. One of your feeders, she lives in it because she thinks if she's there, I'm going to feed her more, even though she's had 7 crickets today. She's all day right there. It's like she has a gorgeous Schefflera plant, all these basking sticks. No, she's in the yellow. She's in the yellow one right above me. So you actually see her right now. That's her, just like, if you need some more. That's all she does. Yeah, right there. That's Aphrodite, and that is one of Doug's chameleon printers. So you see the orange and the yellow. You kind of see a green one, orange, green, purple. I have out of sight. I have like the blue and the red one. You can't see those, but I got, except for because I like the bright color. I like colors. But yeah, there she is, Aphrodite, just right in there all the time, just chilling. Yes, there's a collection all around. We have I got 3 locales now, so I'm pretty excited about that.
My panther would sit on top of his chameleon feeder, not in it, on top of it.
I think, Aphrodite, Charlie always jokes, and she's like, I'm going to call RPS. And I was like, what's RPS? She goes, the Reptile Protective Services. Because, like, she's cracks me up. Yeah, that's what Aphrodite does. The females. I have some really sweet females. And actually, typically, all my females have been sweet, except for these 3. And yes, the names are, we got some fun names. We got Mr. Meeseeks, John Gotti, Gambino, Kenny Powers, and yes, his girlfriend's name is April. If you were ever into that show. Were you into that show? Yeah. Kenny from what else we got? We had a Pickle Rick, but he's in California now. Redline, Mr. Mondays, Mojo. Kamikaze is going with Charlene here soon, actually. Then we got Udro, my nosy bay, and then his girlfriend's name is Bebe, the nosy bay. Humphrey Bogart. And then several other females, but some of them are not as creative as the other names. Yes, she says, I'm going to make an RPS cat and then rescue her. He's coming, hey, it's RPS, been knocking on my door.
I'm terrible at naming my animals. I'm like, man, I need to come up with names for them. So like when I'm putting up pictures, it's easier for people to keep track of who's who. And I have one of mine, my first super giant blood. His name's Rambo, just from First Blood. So
I like that. It gets hard though. It does get hard. Like I was like, oh man, using like ChatGPT, like come up with name suggestions, which is pathetic that I even did that at one point. Thankfully, my boyfriend, he's really good at the names because I'm like, I can't do it. I'm like, yeah, I can't do it. But you want to see one of the babies I have right now? He's a big baby. He's only he's not even 2 months old. I can get him real quick if you want to see him. His name's Travolta. We named him on one of the lives, but he's super freaking cool. Right. Yeah. Hold on, let me get him. It'll take not even a minute. Really? So here's Travolta.
I'm absolutely horrible at naming mine. And my daughter, I think she's named 3 geckos Ralph. So I have 3 Ralphs now.
All right, here we go. Here is Travolta. He'll be a year old on the 24th. Not a year old, I'm sorry, 2 months old. And there he is. He's a red-bodied blue-bar male. And he's so big. He's one of the biggest ones. This clutch, is the biggest I've had, for the way they're growing. This is so big for me. Look. He's already getting some colors. Yeah, he's red-bodied blue-bar ambilobi. And one of the funniest things he does is I'll put him on my climbing tree that I have out here in the middle of the main part of the basement, and he'll climb to the top, and he gets all puffy and it's his hit, and he's looking at the full-grown males. Keep in mind they're a lot bigger than him, and he just stands there, and he's like, "This is my tree. This is my tree." He glares at them like, "Boy, you are the size of a chicken nugget." It doesn't want to focus. Here we go. No, he's not playing. He's like, but I'm climbing.
I'm out of here.
He goes, I'm out of here. He's put me on my climbing tree. Yes. Travolta. That was a fun name. I would never have thought of that name, so I'm happy that they did. Okay, good. He's on there now. I was like, no. All right, we're good. Well, I appreciate having you on tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. It was actually nice to meet the person. I think I've been sending a lot of people your way, and I'm always having to get more feeders from you still too. So
I can probably guess when you do your lives on TikTok.
Really?
There's always sometimes there's upticks. I'll sell 5 chameleon feeders in a couple hours.
Wait a minute. That's actually working though for you. That's good to hear. Like I'm not just like talking. Like people are like, oh yeah, and they go and get them. Yay! Hey, that's good.
Someone mentioned them in a Facebook group or it was like your TikToks.
Hey, that's good though because it works. They're awesome things. Like everybody, I love them. So
I'm gonna do a slight update to them.
Oh,
they're gonna be.
Tell me.
They'll be very similar. They'll look a little smoother.
Oh, like the texture.
Yeah, so like when you see them, like how can it get any better? Then like you'll see it and like, all right, this is like.
Yeah, because that's the one thing, and that's just the thing with supplementation in general. Like if there's a crevice in any of the the texture, like it could be a table, it stays in there. It's so hard. Them it's not as bad, but I mean like when I'm like vending, sometimes I'll notice like it just magically appears in place. I'm like, why? How's it there? Like just stuck in my logo, the tablecloth. But you know.
I'll send some of those new ones your way to try out.
Yay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, thank you so much. You have a wonderful night. Thank you for joining us tonight.
You too.
Thank you. Thank you.